Or the end of one of these tables. Something like that.
Yeah, it is. It's exactly like that.
Hey, how are you? Okay. Can I have your attention? Huh? In the small conference room. Okay, so the first thing that we will let everybody know is Sandy is the time police, and it is 6:01, and so, 6:02, and we're 2 minutes late, which won't happen again probably. But we're going to give ourselves a couple of minutes for sign-in. My name's Kathy Lowe. I'm the director of Virginia Highlands Small Business Incubator, and I see many of our partners in here. But what I want to do first is introduce you to some of the folks that fund this project, which is our Board of Supervisors, and Saul is on his way, the chairman. We have Mr. Dwayne Ball, Mr. Mike Rush, and Mr. Randy Pennington. And they have, they were on board from the beginning. They have helped us through this process. They've supported this process tremendously, and we would not be here without the Washington County Board of Supervisors and the Washington County IDA. They're all dressed up because they have a meeting tonight, and they took time from their busy day to come and meet you all. And so, would you all like to say anything? You're welcome to come up here and speak.
First of all, on behalf of the Board of Supervisors, congratulate you all for what you're about to do. As some of you may know, I have a small business myself. We have Boulder Look Stone down on the Lee Highway, down there below John Battle High School. Started out the same way you did, with just me. So we've been fortunate, grown over the years. We have 14 employees now, ship stone all over the southeast, do a lot of stone work. And I would encourage you to just keep endeavoring to chase your dreams, and then as you do that, learn all you can wherever you're at. You know, your best lessons will be learned through failure, believe it or not. And those are the ones you'll remember the most, and the ones you'll be least likely to repeat. So just press on. Wish you all the best of luck. I think this is a great thing. Be great for our county, and it'd be great to see what everybody here does. Thank you.
Thank you for being here. It is great to see such a large crowd. I know when we first started, the crowd was not as big, but this is wonderful. And you have a great group of leaders. And as Dwayne said, starting a small business is not easy. I also am a small business owner. Won't tell you how many years it's been there, but it's older than my grandchildren. I can say that, and I got some old grandchildren. But stick with what you're doing. Don't ever let anyone say you can't do it. I'll be the first one to tell you that there'll be days you'll wonder, think, how am I going to do it? But it works out. If you work hard and follow your dreams, it works out for you. So I would say good luck to all of you, and thank you for being here.
So we have a chair here and a chair here if you'd like to come on in. And there's Miss Allison Mays, and I'll let her come up and say hello. Would you like to? Allison is the vice chair of the Board of Supervisors.
Are we making comments or just saying hello?
Just saying hello, and yeah, you're making a comment.
Oh, okay. Hi, I'm Allison Mays. I'm vice chair of the Board of Supervisors, and just want to welcome you, as I'm sure everyone else has. to the business challenge. And the one thing I would encourage you to do as part of this challenge is to get involved in the community, join Rotary, get involved with the chamber. The more you do that, I mean, it's great for your business, it's great for you as well. So again, welcome.
Thank you. Mike?
Stand right here and just say that from a different perspective, the Board of Supervisors' support here demonstrates to you that we're open for business in Washington County. And so I hope that you will call on us to support whatever it is you're trying to do, and that you take advantage of all the resources that are available to you through county government.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And Saul Hernandez, the chairman of the Board of Supervisors. Saul, would you like to say hello?
You had to go in front of everything else. Well, thank you, Kathy. I'm tickled to be here. I tell you what, I'm surprised. I walked in and all these people in here.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Like she said, I'm Saul Hernandez. I'm the chairman of the Washington County Board of Supervisors. And as I was driving up here, I was thinking, what can I tell these folks? But I thought of two things, I guess. The first thing, I guess, I want to tell you is just to encourage you. I think as far as the county standpoint, and oftentimes when we look at economic development, what gets the press, oftentimes what gets all the oxygen and the attention is the business attraction part of economic development. But really, economic development has multiple parts. It's not just attracting businesses, supporting existing business, but it's growing new businesses, especially small businesses. And I think there's this big misnomer around economic development in all these communities that the way we change the game, right, the way we move the needle is finding that Amazon, right? Finding that John Deere factory that will move to, to Bristol or to Abington. Finding that big company. And that's great, and we continue to make efforts, right, to land those, we call that whale hunting, right? Although it's really not that effective if you think about it, especially in this environment that we're in. But what really tends to move the needle is small businesses and growing existing businesses. Every economic development expert will tell you that's where it's at. But unfortunately, like I said, oftentimes we want the quick fixes, right? So that's why I'm here to encourage you. I mean, I look at this room and I think, oh my goodness, how many ideas, all this entrepreneurial energy, right? How many great ideas, how many small businesses that are going to employ folks. And if you think of your businesses as a portfolio, right? We often talk about, when we talk about a portfolio, we talk about diversifying your portfolio, right? Not putting all your eggs in the basket. And so to me, that's what small business does for our economic development portfolio, right? Because each one of you can, I guess you can be the big company at one time, but we're kind of spreading it out, right? We're spreading the risk. So number one, I want to encourage you, okay? And number two, I want to congratulate you for winning. And you think, well, wait a minute, we're just starting. And I know oftentimes, at least in this business challenge, we focus at the end of the day with the big, who gets the big cardboard check, right, across the street. And that's not really it, right? I mean, somebody's going to get the check or two checks, or I don't even know how many you give anymore. But you guys have already won because you're here, right? It's Tuesday night. You've obviously somewhere got this entrepreneurial bug, and you said, I'm going for it. I'm going to take a risk. I'm going to invest some time. My idea may be kind of crazy. My idea may be kind of a little bit more, mainstream. But you're already here. You're already doing it, right? You're already gone way beyond what a lot of people think about it and never take any action. So to me, you already won. And so I want you to know that you all have a friend in the county. We're thrilled to death. This is one of the coolest things that we are able to support financially. We support you. We want you to do well as your businesses grow. If there's anything we can help you in terms of, we want to be another resource for you as well. So, but we want you to know that you have a friend in the Board of Supervisors, and you also have a friend in Washington County. And so I'm absolutely tickled that there's so many people in this room. I think I've done this, I've did this talk a couple of times, and I don't know that I've ever seen such a big group. And by the way, too, my day job, I'm an IT consultant, but I also, my wife owns an at-home travel agency with multiple agents. Of course, and I have farmed, so I get it, and I love it, and you know, it's always neat to have kind of a side hustle, even if it's not your full-time gig. That's good too, and we absolutely wish you all the best. And again, congratulations and thank you. So with that, we'll rush on to another meeting.
Thank you. So this is our 6th annual. We're the longest running business challenge in the state. We are that successful because of our executive team and our planning partners. So I'm going to introduce you to our executive team, which is Nita Farmer. Where are you?
She's getting chairs.
Okay. And Sandy Ratliff. Sandy is also our technology guru and does all the streaming, and she's a business consultant, and she's been in economic development for over 20 years, so she's an excellent resource for us. Nita Farmer is the executive director of the Virginia Highlands Small Business Incubator, the Chamber of Commerce, and Nita has been in that position now for about a year, and her assistant you met coming in, which is Samantha Tedder. Then some of our planning partners is Miss Tanya Triplett with Town of Abingdon Community Development, Eva Boley, who was a one-time participant and is now operating a successful small business. Cindy Fields is the director of the Small Business Development Center at Virginia Highlands Community College. And we are so thrilled to have a new partner this year, which is Emory and Henry College, and Mr. Tal Stanley is here from Emory and Henry College. And I'm going to let him talk to you all himself about the award that they are giving this year, in addition to the startup and the expanding business. So far, do I have any questions? Okay. So the first thing I'm going to tell you, and Sandy.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, never mind. So the first thing I'm going to tell you about are all the guidelines. And don't let the guidelines freak you out, but please make sure that you read them and understand them. Because we have to, you know, for various reasons, we have to stick to our rules. And it's the only way that we can manage a competition that has lasted for this long, is because, you know, we don't deviate from unless there's some dire emergency. And so you all have already succeeded in rule number 1 when you turned in your application. And rule number 2 says that your business must be located in Washington County, Town of Abingdon, Town of Glade Springs, or Town of Damascus. Now, you must be 18 or older, and I think everybody understands that. Number 4 is extremely important. Don't let it freak you out, because we have space at Virginia Highlands Small Business Incubator that participants could, and winners do, get half-price rent. So don't let number 4 freak you out, but I do want to read it to you, and I want to make sure you're clear on it. And this is the one that if you've got questions, ask, okay? Business must be located in Washington County, Town of Abingdon, Town of Glade Spring, or Town of Damascus, and zoned for business to compete in the challenge. And you must create 1 full-time job to qualify to receive the grant. You must show proof of payment of all business licenses and applicable taxes. If your business is located in Washington County, the business must have a storefront in a zone for business location. That is the rule that we had to really, that's the one that we pay close attention to. Home businesses do not qualify. However, if you have a home business and you become a winner, then we have space at the incubator for you to have an office until you can graduate out into the community. Now, our space, if you are the winner, is $1.05 a square foot, and it includes all of your utilities except for your internet and telephone. And half of that is what, 53 cents a, so, you know, don't let that one freak you out, but you do have to know that you can't, this business challenge is to start a business in a community. It is not to be in a home, okay? So you can start it there, but before you start receiving any funds, you have to be in an office. Unless you are Eva Boley, who has Adventure Mendota, and she can't do that because she has kayaks that run down the river and she can't bring a river into an office. Okay, so the executive committee, and your guidelines says this, I don't know which one it is, but the executive committee can approve something if there is a reason for you not to be in a storefront, like a river or a creeper trail or a, you know, whatever. But that's the one that stumps everybody, and it kind of freaks them out, but don't let that freak you out. Office space here, we've got office space as small as 250 square feet. So, you know, half of that's $125 or $25 a month. So don't let that bother you, okay? Okay.
Kathy, I've got slides for each.
Oh, for mine? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought that was yours.
They're for all, look at mine.
Okay, all right. So, I am at okay. This one is important, and we like to let people know how this happens because we do have community leaders that come in for pitch night, and we have community leaders that actually have given $1,000 for the best knowledge of your business plan. So those are judged here, and those are awards that, you know, the best pitch really doesn't have anything to do with your best well-written business plan. The business plans go to 3 anonymous judges that are not located in Abbeville or Washington County. So they don't know you, they haven't heard the name of your business, whether you're expanding or startup, they have no clue. All they do is judge the contents of your business plan. So having said that, you have a business plan, I think, on the flash drive. Those flash drives are not empty. There's information on those flash drives. So you have a business plan on there. You've got 2 business plans that we've printed that are in your notebooks that you can kind of go by. But now, you know, are they award winning? I don't know. However, again, you know, Virginia Highlands Small Business Incubator is a resource. Cindy Fields is a resource. Cindy is at, again, Virginia Highlands Community College, and that's one of the things that she does is help with writing and perfecting business plans. Sandy's a resource, and
we
you have
a business
mentors.
list in all the packages.
Right, you have a mentor list in all the packets. So there's lots of people in there who have signed on to say, yes, if they'll give me a call, I'll meet with them for nothing, and we'll talk about whatever they need to talk about, okay? If you are partnership or, and I think I've told most everybody as they came in tonight, you know, we realize that you may run into some problem in the next 6 weeks. So, you can have one excused absence. That excused absence, though, has to have somebody sit in for you, and you will have to email us and designate who that person is. So all of you that are here tonight, and if you haven't signed in, please do. If when you leave here tonight, you say, you know what, I'm not going to be able to make before those meetings, so you have to do it instead of me. You know, whatever. So you all just make sure that the person that signed, at least one of the people in your business that signed in tonight is the person who is designated to come the rest of the time. I think our email addresses are on this, and I don't know if we did that. Oh, yeah, our email addresses are down as mentors also. So, again, I'm Kathy Lowe, Nita Farmer, Sandy Ratliff, Samantha Tedder is out front. Let us know if you are sending someone for the very first time to, and it's only one time, to sit in for you. There's also a portion of the guidelines, and I'm sure that I'm jumping ahead, but you cannot be more than 15 minutes late. If you come in 20 minutes late, you're disqualified. We're sorry that we had to, but after 6 years, we've learned a few things, and we had some folks that, they'd saunter in about 7 o'clock and leave about 7:30, and, we didn't have it written in the guidelines, and, thankfully, the business plans were, their tardiness reflected in their business plans, and they didn't win. So we've actually never had someone win that hadn't put forth a strong effort. So you get in something, you get out of something what you put into something, and so just be sure that you pay attention to those things. And yes, I just said all of that. Okay, this is very important because we do this January through March. Inclement weather. We tried everything, and we finally landed on this. If Virginia Highlands Community College is, even if they're running a 2-hour delay in the morning, then we will have class that night. But if they're closed, we're closed. We just, our road is the same road as theirs, and so we just kind of go by their schedule. So make sure that, because WCYB usually puts Virginia Highlands Community College on the ticker tape.
Do we make up the class if we miss it?
We do, and that's the next thing. The makeup sessions will be announced. We try to make them up that week before the next class. And so far, we've been successful. But, sometimes you just can't control Mother Nature. Okay, here are your prizes. Startup wins $5,000 for first place, $1,500 for second place. Free CPA services from Spiegler Blevins for a year. Free formation of your business, and when I say formation of your business, your LLC, your subchapter, whatever you're starting, or if you've already formed it and you're wondering if you have any challenges with it. John Martin at Penn Stewart does that for free. If you haven't formed the business yet and you are waiting to see if you win and you want to be an LLC, he does all of the work for free. However, if there are filing fees, those are yours to pay, okay? Mike Spiegler asks that the winner contact him within a month of the winning, because he cannot take all of somebody's book work on March the 15th and have their taxes done by April the 15th. So make sure you contact Mike within 30 days of winning, whoever you are. Existing business is $5,000, and for first place and $1,500 for second place. Let me back up. In the startup, your job is the job, okay? So whoever the startups are, you are considered the job. So your job requirement is easy if you're opening your business. Existing business has to hire a employee. It cannot be the current business owner, okay? Now, again, in some of the seasonal businesses that we've had, two part-time jobs, well, if they're open all year, 4 part-time jobs equal 1 full-time job. So, we do try to work with you. We're not here to hamper anything. We just want everybody on the same page. We want to work with you. Okay? I'm going to let Tal talk to you in just a minute about the Emory and Henry Award, because that is another $5,000 award. And I'm going to let him tell you what that is in just a few minutes. You also, both startup and existing, and the new Emory and Henry Award all get a free membership to the Washington County Chamber of Commerce. I think the last time I talked to Nita, she said the second place winners also get a free one-year chamber membership. I would encourage you to participate with the chamber, to go to the breakfast. They're very good networking opportunities, and small business or startup business or expanding businesses. I learned when I had a business was the most important thing in my business was being able to network with other businesses for many reasons. This year, our pitch night, or our pitch award, has been increased to $1,500, and Highlands Union Bank is giving that. That will be the night that you present to the panel of judges for 8 minutes. You have to be able to tell them and let them envision your business in 8 minutes. So, and I'm going to tell you this now, and we'll tell you the night before. If you've got a slideshow that's on an Apple product, or I don't know, any PC, please come in and test it before pitch night. Because if you get here and it's not compatible, we can't, it's very difficult. We haven't lost a pitch yet, but it rattles the contestant. And so, they get all flabbergasted because they hadn't been able to get all their information out there. And so just come in and, test everything. And if you want to practice talking to an empty room, that's fine with us. We're here to help. Okay? Papa Tom's Cantina. They judged the challenge one year, Joel Jerkins did, and he decided that this was worthy enough that he wanted to give $1,000 to the person who, during their pitch, had the most knowledge and best plan that they could verbalize. And so he gives $1,000 annually. The $1,500 and the $1,000 have no stipulations. They are, the judges decide them, and the stipulations. They want you to start your business in an office somewhere, but the stipulation is that you are enthusiastic enough to win a pitch. So I'm going to pass by this Emory and Henry, and I'm going to give it to Tal in just a second. I've already told you get half price rent at the incubator. And again, if you are a small startup business, even if you're not a winner, if you want to present a business plan to me and our board will work with you. And if you need startup help, let's say your rent maybe still be a little bit too much, the board will consider that. So don't think that if you didn't win the grand prize that you might have to put this off a little while. Come to me, let me present your business plan to the board of directors for the incubator, and let's see what we can do to help you. Again, we are here to try to start and help with business. I've already told you about John and Mike, and so Tal, I think this is your turn.
Thank you, Kathy. My name is Tal Stanley. I work at Emory and Henry. I've been at Emory and Henry for about 23 years now. I direct the Appalachian Center for Civic Life. And through that entity, Emory and Henry is seeking to be a positive force for economic development in Southwest Virginia, in Washington County, and particularly in what we've come to describe as the GEMS corridor, Glade Spring, Emory, Meadowview, and Saltville, although our conversation here pertains mainly to the Glade Spring, Emory, and Meadowview right along Hillman Highway there. My commitment to small business really grows from my life experience. Food was put on my table when I was growing up. I was educated. I had clothes on my back. And every summer I worked in a small business that was operated by my father. And that business, through that business, he made a substantial contribution to the community in which we lived. And it was a social benefit. It was an organization, a for-profit entity that benefited a lot of people there. And he employed people. As I said, he put us through school, my brothers and sisters and I. And it was a positive force in Pulaski County where we were. And that model sort of informs what we want to do with this Emory and Henry Award. We have $5,000 that we want to use not so much as an award, but as an investment in a business enterprise that will be located in that GEMS footprint, Glade Spring, Emory, Meadowview. And we're not particular about the kind of business, but what we are particular about is the vision of the business operator. We want someone that will serve with us, in addition to being on your business, to serve with us on a steering committee for economic and community development in that corridor. We're interested in somebody that will put students to work from Emory and Henry, both in employed status, but also as students that are doing civic engagement. And we understand that supporting this business will be a way to support economic development in and around that area. In the long term, we're interested in corporations or in businesses that will seek out certification from the IRS to be B certified, social benefit organizations. It doesn't mean that you're a nonprofit. That's an entirely different kind of certification. It means that you're in free enterprise, that you're making money, that you're out for your profit, you're doing your best to be innovative, to be entrepreneurial, but you meet certain expectations, certain categories, and we can talk about this later on, by which you are a social benefit entity. Sandy will tell you that Virginia Community Capital is a social benefit organization. If you've ever heard of Ben & Jerry's Ice Cream, that is a social benefit organization. There is a restaurant in Whitfield that is a social benefit organization. They're all around. They don't do business any different, except that they are people, they are businesses that have as a commitment the bettering of that community. And it's a certification. You go through a number of different sorts of processes to acquire that. We're not making that a requirement, but over time, we hope that the successful business, the successful pitch will consider doing that. But more than anything else, we're looking to invest in you and to put a private enterprise, an entrepreneurial activity, an innovative business in the GEMS corridor. And we are willing, as a college, to underwrite it, to be supportive of it, and to build on what you bring to this process to making that a better community. Questions of me?
So,
Thanks very much.
I think that one thing that maybe we need to talk to them about is where the business has to be located.
I said in the GEMS corridor.
Oh, okay.
Glade Spring, Emory, Meadowview. I'll take off the Saltville because they'll probably, the Board of Supervisors hears everything. Our interest is in building a corridor there that links to the Salt Trail, that has some other sorts of quality of life enhancements, and to develop things around the trailhead of the Salt Trail. But also in Meadowview, you may have heard the Southwest Virginia Community Health System is moving their home office from Saltville over to Meadowview, and so we're going to have a new energy on the square in Meadowview. Glade Springs got a lot going on. We have businesses in Emory, And of course, you've got that captive audience at Emory Henry, which they all come with just a little bit. Thank y'all.
I will tell you that Tanya and I were out handing out information about the business challenge, and the lady in the antique store in Meadowview, Tanya, correct me if I say something wrong, told us that she had had an antique store in Kingsport, right?
Yep.
Kingsport.
And one in Glade.
She said her most successful business was in the Meadowview Square. So, don't take anything for
Now,
granted.
I will say, that's a good segue, that the building in which she is located is the old train depot in Meadowview. That building is owned by the Meadowview First Corporation, which I am the past chair. They have allowed her, they did the modifications of that building. They allowed her to locate her business there. And she is basically using it rent-free for a certain period of time until she gets her business up and going and begins to show that substantial profit margin. Meadowview First has other properties which it's willing to put into this mix. There are other kinds of resources out there. So I say that to say, if you're interested, we can talk.
Right, and so, what Tanya just handed out to you all, we need for you to sign off now as to whether you're a startup or an existing business. The definition of startup is under 1 year. And when we say that, we mean, if you show us that you started a bank account last March and your first revenues were April, then we're going to believe you that that's when you started doing business. So that would be that you were in business less than a year. If you've been in business for more than a year, you have to compete as an existing business. And I would encourage you to, and I don't think anybody will, but I would encourage you to tell the truth, because we had to disqualify the winner last year. So, yeah, it was not a happy day for any of us. We had to disqualify him the same week he won. So please, with social media, some of the other folks that were competing, they found, dates of the winner's business activities and brought it in, and he was disqualified the same week. So please don't do that. Okay. Your ideas are protected, so when I say that to say this. Whatever you want to disclose in your pitch night is up to you. You don't have to disclose all the details, or you can if you think it's going to help you win that money. But that's totally up to you. We do not share the business plans with anybody. And there was an optional thing on your guidelines, and if you've changed your mind while we're talking, there was an optional thing on your guidelines. We won't even put you in SurveyMonkey in MailChimp, or we will not share your information with any other group unless you tell us that we can. Sometimes we'll know of things that are coming up that would be beneficial to you, and sometimes we'll just send you the email and say, would you like to participate with this? But, we don't share that information with anybody unless you ask us to. Winners are required to meet at least monthly with your designated mentors for a minimum of 6 months. That is, again, not to punish anybody. It's just to make sure that you're not hitting a bump in the road, and, we might know somebody that can help you, and you just, we want to make sure that we can keep pushing you forward. Nita, all of our checks require 2 signatures, so when you turn in your receipts, and they have to be paid receipts. Once you turn in your paid receipts, then you have to give Nita a couple weeks to write the check and find one of us to sign to be the second signature on the check. So she cannot write you a check the same day you take your receipts in, okay? I have just talked about startup. If you have questions about startup, let us know. Me, Nita, and Sandy will meet, and we'll make a decision based on the details of the business. Your final $2,500 will not be dispersed until you have provided the proof of that one job if you are an expanding business. You know, that's the only way we have a clawback. We don't have something in there that says we're gonna come back and ask you to pay the money back if you don't do this or that. You know, that's just really the only clawback that we have. Again, the home-based business has to have a business location. Washington County Chamber is the fiscal agent, I just told you that. And with that, do you have any questions before I turn it over to your next speaker? Okay. Look at your guidelines. If you have questions, call us. Look at your, leave your, whether you're expanding or startup business, leave that with us tonight. And with that, I'm going to turn it over, I guess, before I turn it over to Eva Bolay is Adventure Mendota, and she's got a great story. She will probably tell you herself, but Eva competed more than once before she won. And so, if you don't win this time, come back the next time. And the big thing that happened for Eva is occasionally there are other initiatives in Southwest Virginia. And so there was a grant that came down that gave a $10,000 award. And this has been 2 times, 2 separate grants, 2 separate entities. The folks who had graduated from a business challenge were the only ones that could compete for that $10,000 award. Eva Bolay won it 1 year, and White Birch Juice won it another year. And so White Birch was never a winner of the business challenge, but she had completed the business challenge. She came in just as that grant came through, and they asked us to help, put the folks together, and they won $10,000. So I think there's more opportunity than people know. So just, keep up with us. I've got a magazine.
I want to mention,
I was going to.
Sally, and then I got to fix something.
Okay, well, I was going to let Sally come up next, but Sally, will you stand up, please? Sally Stringer is with Highlands Union Bank. She's the marketing.
I'm the market executive for Southwest Virginia.
Yes. Sally is also the incoming president, or the current president of the Washington County Chamber of Commerce. So she's been a great help to us over many years of business development, and we appreciate Sally. And Sally's the one that got the additional monies for the award. So, thanks Sally, thank Highlands Union Bank. We wrote a magazine about some of our challengers. We've got a 48% success rate over the last 5 years. That's really unheard of when you're talking about small business startup and expansion. I have a few left outside, and I have some more that I can get that were, the back page was formatted wrong, so I just put my business card in it. But if you'd like one of these magazines, they're out there on the started to say podium at the front desk, and I will get some more out so that everybody can have one. You can read about the past participants, and with that, I'm going to say Sandy and Eva.
While Eva comes up, one of the things I'd like for us to do, I think it would help Eva, I know, when she makes her comments, but also to start that networking that goes on at these events, is go around the room and everybody introduce themselves and talk about what your if you want to share what your plans are, that's great if you're a startup, but that's where, because I didn't get to visit everybody when you came, so this is where we start the networking. So let's go around the room, introduce yourself, and if you want to share what you're doing, this is where you practice your 30-second business pitch when you're doing the networking events at the chamber and so forth. 30 seconds to tell who you are and what you're going to be doing. So who wants to go first? Come on, we'll start over here.
I'll go first. She has Larry's job.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Kevin Lyons with Abington Emporium and Collectibles. We specialize in comic books, paparazzi jewelry, Young Living oils, which we are in the process of expanding tremendously into several different categories, including hair treatments, essential oil, high-quality Young Living lotions and facial treatments, Young Living candles, Young Living soaps, and also essential pillow spray. And as I say, we're an emporium. We can also carry buck knives. We carry assorted knives, sterling silver jewelry, coffee, chocolates, and we've got a lot of new products coming in the next few weeks. So if you get a chance, stop on in and see us. Once again, my name is Kevin Lyons and Abington Emporium and Collectibles. Thank you. And this is my wife, Tammy. She has laryngitis, so please give her a pass tonight. Thank you.
Guess up next, my name's Dexter. I don't have a business name yet. I'm just kind of just starting out all together. But I'm going to be doing, or the idea is to do processing and manufacturing of industrial cannabis. You know, if you go through the history, it was used to make road clothes, oils, and so with the new laws coming in effect where it's legal again, I'll be trying to jump on that bandwagon. You know, trying to make the processing and sell to these manufacturers who make the plastics of, you know, everyday use like plastic bags and, you know, all that other stuff.
My name is Dave Rasnick. Kind of in the same boat. Haven't got a business started yet. My idea kind of involves outdoor recreation, more specifically glamping. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but it's more upscale camping, kind of focused on families and more family friendly than what traditional camping would be kind of thought of.
My name's Donna Carneal. I just recently bought an old house right there in the middle of Abington, right across from the olive oil company. And built in 1893. It's a great old house. I really have great plans to have short stay accommodations, business accommodations, and also just wanted to be a place where I can gather community together, whether it be retreats or speaking engagements or just special events. So I've been renovating since August, and that's the plan.
My name's Paul Baker. I'm a startup business. Actually opened, my first day was yesterday. So I'm starting an equipment dealership out at Exit 17. Some of you may have seen it. It's called Turf Pros. But it's going to be just being a couple guys there. I wanted to keep it small. I'm from Abington, and I have a soft spot in my heart for Southwest Virginia, and so I wanted to do things a little bit differently and be a little more involved in the Abington community with the little leagues, midget leagues. Just do things a little bit. I guess just do things a little differently than some of the other equipment guys around. Like I said, I have a soft spot for Southwest Virginia and Tri-Cities area, so that's where I'm at, and that's where I'll be, so come by and see us.
I'm Becca Sarby. I'm Tanya Fuller. We're joining up together. Our business, we haven't started yet, but our business is going to be called Little Bits Baking Company Provisions, and it just goes off of one of our favorite quotes about, do your little bit of good, and that makes the world a better place where you are. So she's a baker, a great baker. I don't know if anyone's been to the bakery in Damascus. And then we're going to do a bakery, coffee shop, and then have a lot of local, organic, natural vendors also in the storefront. So.
My name's Alan Necessary. I'm the owner of Sargent's Pay Lake and Campground, starting my third year. retired military, so that's why I call it Sargis. And I'm located in just about 3 miles south of White Top Mountain, right on the Creeper Trail, about 300 yards from the Creeper Trail in Green Cove. So mainly, when I first started out, I wanted to, basically people come up to catch a trout, catch and release, keep them, and put it up for private camping. But last year, we kind of ballooned into the Boy Scouts of America and another big group called Trail Life. We've had birthday parties there, we've had family reunions and fish fries. So business is really picking up. And I'll be competing for the existing business, but if anybody needs any help starting up, I'll be glad to help you, because there's hidden things you don't know, and there's things that'll help you tremendously. Just come and ask.
My name is Rhonda Honaker, and we have started a company called Highlands Hemp. We're a CBD oil manufacturer. Started, I guess, in September, and doing very well so far. We're in some of the local markets here in the area, some local pharmacies, things of that nature. I'm a health and wellness person from way back. Been a personal trainer my whole life, and just got really interested in the CBD and wellness factor. So I'm excited.
Hi, my name is Donna Akers. I'm originally from here. Live in Boone, North Carolina now. My idea, after traveling to many different cities and enjoying food tours, is to look at the idea of doing downtown specialty food tours in downtown Abingdon, both for food, drinks, perhaps cemetery tours, even wild food foraging at my parents' farm. They don't know that yet, but they'll learn about it. And all of those together with just kind of walking along, but also giving historic and cultural information about the area, because I'm a historian here. So,
I'm Kim Messersmith. My idea, I decided to put a little bit on the back burner and just kind of attend the classes for this challenge. So I'm focusing on my business coaching right now and helping people who need the confidence to go forward if you know anybody.
My name is Dan Swanson. I live in Abingdon, and I've been involved in construction around the area for a number of years, but about a year and a half ago I became aware of a new business, and so we're in the process of starting up a business that's basically home improvement focused on energy conservation. Everybody's concerned about their electric bills, especially this time of year, if you're like my house. So our offering will be everything from LED light bulbs to solar panels. And we're basically a division of a company out in Northern Virginia, operating somewhat like a franchise. We're in the process of hoping to get started, and we think there's a huge upside to those kinds of products and technologies, and really I think we're pretty early in the game. We think there's a long way to go for solar particularly.
I'm Diana Blackburn, and I live in the suburbs of Damascus. And my idea, and just in a startup phase, and taking some time to do some research on small group tours here in Southwest Virginia.
I'm Stephanie Howard, and I am the owner of Playdate in Abingdon. What we are, we're an indoor playground and party venue for kids 10 and under. My loyal customers and audience. I'm competing with startup business. I have been in business now for 6 months tomorrow, I think. What we do, I mean, like I said, it's a safe, clean, and that's what's basically our most competitive advantage to other indoor playgrounds is we keep it super, super clean and safe for our young ones. And a little backstory on myself, I'm a mama to 3 kids under the age of 10. And when my 3-year-old last February turned 3, and we took her all the way to Gray, Tennessee to have her birthday party at an indoor playground, and had invited family, friends to travel all that distance, and they did, and we had a good time. And I said, you know what, I'm ready. We've been traveling to Asheville, North Carolina, to Johnson City, and it's
a big day. It's a big outing. We spend over a couple $100 once we, feed the kids 3 times and maybe even stay the night. So I said, you know what, we need something like this around here for our locals and our single parents or, my working parents that just need us somewhere to go, really, which number one is, I'll try to keep this short, but I'm really excited about this. But number one is, of course, a place for our kids. Number two, for us. It's for a place where, I get daddies, mommies, grandmothers, great-grandmothers, a place where they can sit and have coffee and know that the kids are safe. They don't have to chase them around. Like I said, you can see them the entire time and hang out with me and a lot of it, and share stories with other people going through the same thing you're going through. So anyway, long story short, that's where I'm at, and I'm all over the place, but I'm super excited and I'm happy to be here. Thanks.
My name is Cassie Rowe, and I am the owner of Build-A-Basket in Abingdon. I'm a gift shop, and I am actually 2 weeks short of 1 year being open so far. So, I was touching the struggle, so I attest to what you're saying down there. It's been a struggle, but anyway, so we do like custom gift baskets. We do corporate gifting. So if you guys need anything that has your logo on it or anything for your clients, come see me. Custom gifts, personalized gifts, we deliver.
I'm Laura Harris. I'm from Lincoln Park. I'm a small startup business in Mendota, Virginia. And she puts everything off on me, and I'm Dottie Di, her aunt. But we have a storefront, or she has a store already in Mendota that was built in 1929. So it has not been open for many, many years since the early 80s. We're going to reopen that store into what our idea would be, basically, is to bring back to the younger people some of the old crafts like sewing, quilting, basket making, and all of those crafts to be taught there in that day. They take it home with them. And then we will also have retail there of homemade things that is the community and things that the people in that area, Southwest Virginia, makes. And in the back of it, there is a small kitchen area. And if you know anything about Mendota, you can't buy a Coke, you can't buy a sandwich, you can't buy anything in Mendota at all. So hopefully we will have a small little area in the back of it where we can have a box lunch. And we're going to call that the lunch box, where we can box up a sandwich for the kayakers that Eva has up and down the river. And since the trailhead has opened there now, and there's a mile of the trail open, I hope to be able to find some little convenient things like bandages, first aid kits, maybe some sprays for people on the trail. So we'll have like a little convenience store, plus our make it and take it, and you can get a sandwich and take it too also. That's our idea, and we haven't opened yet, but we're in the process of working on it.
Hello, my name is Samuel Fleener. I'm 22 years old, and I'm from Mendota, Virginia also. I actually own Ham Bones Entertainments, LLC, and we've been in business since September of 2015. And we do balloon decorations and face paint and magic shows for children's birthday parties, corporate events, religious gatherings, such and such. And we're looking to get into bounce houses and inflatables. So.
Well, my name is Dwayne Duffield, and I own Big Daddy's To Go catering company. I also have a storefront in Meadowview, Virginia. During the summer months, we have one in Alvarado that we run for seasonal, and we're just trying to expand to what people are wanting. Instead of having everything to go, they want to come in and sit down to eat. So, so we're hoping that we can, make that happen here pretty soon.
Hi, I'm Mark Finney. This is Justin Dick and Jerry Bressoir and Tom McMullen. And the four of us are starting a hard cider company this year that we're calling Tumbling Creek Cider Company. We're planning to have our first batch of hard cider later this spring, and much larger batches in subsequent years.
No, you need to have a batch before our classes. That's part of your business challenge.
I'm with, as he said, I'm with Justin Dick with Kelly Ridge Farms, and we're building a 3,500 square foot production facility on our farm. Our farm's in Meadowview, Virginia, off Old Salt Works Road, and it's been in the family for 9 generations. And we've got some orchard production and other things. We're all together under the Tumbling Creek for the competition purposes. But with our main goal, other than making some really awesome cider, to stimulate the economy and agricultural opportunities for farmers in the region to get back into agriculture and producing orchards and apples. And for us to act as a venue and as a new buyer in the area to stimulate that agricultural production in the area.
My name is Susan Stansel. This is my partner Rima Keene, and we are a startup business. And what we have envisioned for Abingdon, and hopefully we'll be able to bring to fruition, is an independent bookstore and cafe. We'll feature Southern and Appalachian writers. One of the things that if you're from Southwest Virginia, which Rima is, I'm not, I'm a transplant, that you come to learn relatively quickly is that this is an area that produces talent, literary, musical, artistic, at a rate that is almost mind-blowing. And we want the people of Southwest Virginia in particular, and Abingdon specifically, to have a home bookstore along the lines of Malaprops or in Asheville, or if you just picture where you vacation and you know where that bookstore is and that coffee shop, we want Abingdon to have that same experience. We want to feature our local authors. We hope they'll consider it their home bookstore, and we hope we'll be able to pull this off.
Wow. I'm Patty Shelton, and we're getting ready to hopefully open up soon to start up Little Downtown Donuts, and we'll be a custom donut and coffee shop right in town. This is Teresa Childers. She's partnering with me. She's also my aunt. So we hope to be open maybe in the next month.
You said custom donuts?
These are fresh baked donuts daily throughout the day. And we will have every topping that you can think of to put on them. So they are hot, fresh donuts.
Kind of like a sweet corn donuts.
Oh,
So,
yeah. I like that. I don't know if any of you know, but Dunkin' Donuts, none of their donuts are made fresh. They are frozen and shipped in to every store. These donuts are made from scratch every day, all day. So you'll be looking for us because hopefully in 3 weeks
we are on Main Street. Yeah.
Drive-through, just
Yeah.
throwing it out there. For us in the minivans, we knock it out.
I need you on the corner.
Okay. I text you and meet you on the corner. That works. That works.
I definitely like to stand on Main Street and hand it.
Easily. Minivans, stop, go.
That's right.
Hey guys, I'm Dean Barr. I'm the proprietor of the gallery at Barr Photographics at 152 East Main Street in Abingdon, Virginia. My business was established in 1986. Segued into fine art sales and exhibition in 2001 with the addition of a custom frame shop, the Giclée printing business, and I still offer photography services, even though the photography industry has kind of moved away from studios into the digital world. And I'm hoping to further expand business, and I'll tell y'all right now, from the evening frame, come see me.
Well, now I have to say. My name is Elizabeth Gardner, and my husband and I just bought Abingdon Vineyards August 1st.
We are thrilled. We have lots of big plans, but the one I'm focusing on for this specific business challenge is to remodel our kitchen to create a culinary center so we can do farm-to-table cooking classes. We really want the vineyard, if you've been following us, we're doing so many events and we're really trying to make it a community center. My background is in education, and back in California I had a company called Food and Farm Tours, and really educating people about sustainability and cooking and getting kind of back to the roots and back to health. And so we would really like to have a venue there where we can do classes and feature kind of experts from throughout the community can come and teach there and share the knowledge. So we're really excited about creating a space for that.
Just make sure you got started with that.
Wow, first of all, and I'll bet Sandy, Kathy, and Nita, and the others who have been a part of the challenge for a long, long time, you all are an awesome group. It's very exciting to hear all of these plans. And I used to work in human resources and worked in areas where, unfortunately, we had to do some laying off. And what I love about people like you, people like myself actually, is we're reinventing an economy in Southwest Virginia that we can sustain. And you all are a part of that. So it's just, somebody said they had a soft spot for Southwest Virginia. You know, we want to succeed and we'll do things better than anybody else here. But anyway, my name is Eva, and I own Adventure Mendota, and they're right. I was in your seat in 2015. I had my eye on the prize. I didn't come to learn anything. I came for $5,000. So I got beat by a wiener that year. A weenie beat me. A restaurant called the Political Dog. So, and then I did come back and pitch in the Southwest Virginia Cup. I didn't come in first in that one. I came in second. I got beat by a pig. It was Wolf Barbecue in Marion, Virginia. They came in first and got $20,000. I got 10. I was a second-hand salad. But anyway, but I was in your seat in 2015, and I really, truthfully, I was here for $5,000. I bet you all are the same way. You think, oh, this is nice, but I want to win that money. And when Saul and others say the real benefit of this challenge is what you learn, and the resources that you learn are available to you in Southwest Virginia, it is the truth. It is the truth, and I can already see it here in some of your comments that you'll make connections. Even your competitors are also going to be the ones that lift you up. So it's really a cool thing. So let me get started. First, I would not be a small business owner if I didn't want to self-promote. So let me show you what we do. I'm touching it, Sandy. There.
Whoops.
Oh, there.
Go back.
How do I go back? There's always one person who can't get it right. But no, this is just a little video. We do this for a lot of our groups. This is just one of our groups that came out. But it demonstrates what we do with my small business. And I'll skip that. I'm just going right into this. But Sandy asked me a couple of years ago, she says, what do you wish that you had known when you first opened Adventure Mendota? And I went through a couple of things, and she asked me to put it in a presentation. And that's what I want to talk to you about. How do I?
You don't run the TV remote at home, do you?
No.
Just touch
Oh,
that.
it's upside down though.
Just touch it. Slide it like a book.
Honestly, when I do mine.
Your fingers are Sorry.
Kathy, didn't you have trouble with it too?
Did
It's
you
not
drop
just
it in
me.
the river again?
Yeah. Yeah. That river's full of phones, more than Verizon.
It was turned off for whatever reason. Okay, now you
Okay, here's the good. And this is the cool thing, like others have alluded to tonight. Small businesses like yours and like mine, we are very important. We are totally awesome, in fact, because we're driving just about half of the U.S. economy. So give yourself a pat on the back. When I was a young person in high school, if I found out somebody's parents owned their small business and,
my friends, their father or mother, I'm thinking of Mickey Sprinkle. They had Sprinkle Upholstery. I thought, Mickey's way up. You know, her parents have their own business. And while, you know, that's exaggerated, I was onto something. When people have their own business, they are pretty special. And so the one thing I always do is I always give my business card out, and I want you to too, because you always want to self-promote. And the funnest thing about owning your own business is to give your card out and say, hey, you know, my name's Eva. I do kayaking on the North Fork of Holston. Hi, I'm Maria Van Cotton, Southwest Virginia. And here you go. Come kayak with me. So here you go. You bring me some food down, I'll eat it. I know, you too. And you too. You Mendota people. When I make a full, this is cool. This is cool. Hey, she's been kayaking. Thank you, we'll trade. I know this one, she's been kayaking with me. Thank you. And he hasn't, but we know each other. So, anyway, and he's back there. So pass out your cards and pat yourself on the back because you're doing something pretty awesome. And, you know, it's a good thing. Okay, some of what I call the bad are the necessary things, the things I wish I had known or I found out, well, the hard things. A lot of you, your businesses might require municipality approval. Mine did. You know, I'm working on the river. I had to have those embarrassing signs up in my yard that you had so many days to get used to the idea of Adventure Mendota operating and that I would be, you know, presenting in front of the Board of Supervisors and my neighbors could come and talk, and some of them did. So, but you have to know that. One of my neighbors circumvented that process and he got a little fine. So workers' comp. Folks, if you have employees, you better have workers' comp. When we opened, we did not. The second year we were in business is when I competed in the My Southwest Virginia Opportunity Cup, and there were about 20 people in that contest. I asked, who's got workers' comp in here? Not a one of us did. So I you know, started investigating. It's a Virginia law. If you've got an employee, you better have workers' comp because otherwise, if that employee gets injured, you're in trouble. So, you know, when you're starting up, you have a lot of expenses. Don't circumvent something that's important. You know, we were very lucky. We didn't have an injury. But you can bet I have workers' comp today. And also, the payroll accounting systems. There'll be an undercurrent throughout this whole 6 weeks, kind of talking about cash flow and different things. And so, along with that, bookkeeping. You'll hear, if you're not a business owner, you'll hear about QuickBooks. You might have a bookkeeper that somebody will refer you to. The word QuickBooks Pro will come up from time to time. Well, my husband and I decided we'd ignore all that because we thought, well, we'll get in the business a couple of weeks, we'll get some cash flow, and then we'll take care of that. Well, our business did something very unusual. Instead of a trajectory like this, we went like this. There was no time to even think about that. We worked out of a shoebox. And because we were going to save a couple of $100 and wait until we had a cash flow, we paid out over $1,200 working with someone to reinvent our first year, pay our proper taxes, get everything in order, and get our bookkeeping set up. It was a mess. It was over $1,200, less than $2,000 by the time we finally got through. What a mistake we made. Don't make that mistake. Get yourself in order as a business as you open the door. Don't wait and think, I'll put all those receipts in a box and then I'll remember everything. It just doesn't work.
Small business for Cindy Fields works, she can help you get all that stuff.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
Also, this is kind of funny. We were Sarge, somebody, was it you and I talking about this? Somebody and I were talking about promotional materials. I passed out my business card. That's a graphic I had done by a professional, and she also did my rack cards. But my first year, I did everything myself because I thought I was so smart, and I thought I was a graphic designer. I did not realize that rack cards have a certain height. Mine didn't even show up in anybody's racks. It was just a trifold of paper. It was terribly put together. I was so proud of that. I had thousands printed, and I took them around and gave them to everybody. And somebody pulled me aside and gave me the tough love and said, look, it was Kitty Barker, that's who it was, with Heart of Appalachia. She said, look, Eva, she said, your stuff stinks. She said, you've got a nice little business. I'm just surprised anybody's coming. And so I met with a graphic designer for $150. I got a really nice rack card design and my business card design, had them printed, and it's something I'm not ashamed of. I am ashamed. When I actually went to the Chamber of Commerce not long ago, and they had some of my old, y'all had some of my old first year horrible pamphlets. I grabbed them out and threw them away. I was like, get rid of those. But so, you know, think about what you're presenting, because your business is you. And you don't want, even though you're going to be careful with your dollars, and I totally get that, you also want to have quality materials. Just remember, your business is you all the time. In fact, I was telling the ladies here earlier tonight, I was at Walmart in the frozen food section yesterday. It's 9 degrees. I'm getting a pizza out, and somebody says, "Hey, Adventure Mendota, you kayaking?" Now, I didn't know them from Adam, but they recognize me. They don't know my name, but they know I'm Adventure Mendota. I saw you on TV. And I'm like, okay. Nope, we don't kayak when it's 9 degrees. Had a truck driving the river this morning. The other thing is, your business, you know, it is going to cost you more than you think. In my case, I kept my day job the first year. So we were able to operate, my husband and some staff operated through the week, but our busy time was on the weekend, and I worked all weekend, and I went back to work on Monday. And it was important that I do so for us to have the cash to operate and infuse it. And we were successful. And that's another thing. When you're successful, you're going to have to reinvest if you're going to grow. We started off with 12 kayaks, and we were really on the rock whether or not we'd bought too many kayaks. And we have close to 90 kayaks today. So you know, that's a lot of kayaks. If you look at what we pay for our kayaks, that's a lot of cash that went out. So, I'm now backwards. Oh, this is some of the good. And this is what we were talking about, the resources you're going to come up with from participating in this challenge. It is incredible. The Small Business Incubator, that's this building, but it's also the people in it. It's Kathy Lowe, the director, and Jennifer, the deputy director, and Sandy, she's with Virginia Capital, but she's housed in this building also. And then the New Knowledge. If you all haven't, who all's heard of New Knowledge? Good, that's very good. The New Knowledge is on Wednesdays here. And always keep up with what's being the topic of the week. It doesn't go all year. I think they cease a little while in the summer. But the topic of the week, because there will be something that applies to you. Now, if you can't get here, it's streamed or you can get them on YouTube. That is some of the best information that I found. That is how I learned to do a press release. It's how I've really stepped up my social media marketing. It's how I've learned to make I do my own website design and all the upgrades to my website and things. Learned all that right here at the New Knowledge. And I also connected with other people, just like I saw you all connecting with others in here. So it's just a great place. Your Chamber of Commerce, okay. Before I was a small business owner, I didn't really know what the Chamber did. But they do a lot. And during the summer, I'll have several times that somebody's been over at the Washington County Chamber, and they'll say, Nina sent me, or, you know, Suzanne sent me. Suzanne's not there anymore. Samantha sent me. But the Chamber, all of these people I'm mentioning, they really work for you. You know, they're agencies, but they work for you. They exist, really, to your benefit. The community college. Cindy, yeah, you took Tom Fleckenstein's place, didn't you? Okay, Tom Fleckenstein is who was in her role now. And so when we had our business plan, putting it together, we took it to Tom to review. And you need to do this because I thought our business plan was brilliant. You know, I'm not an unconfident person. And I thought, this is probably the best business plan they will ever see. He looked at it and he said, oh, Eva, you have so much fluff in here. I was like, oh my gosh, my fluff. You know, but stripped it down. And you know, that first year when I didn't win, one of the criticisms in my business plan, there was still too much fluff. So, you know, use your resources. They know what they're doing. You want to get in touch with those resources early, not the week before your business plan is due, but you want to if you don't know where to start, go with them to get started. You'll have a template, but if you really don't know where to start, get some advice there. But stay in touch and let them help you throughout the process, and you'll have a winning business plan. So, People Inc., I don't think we have anybody from People Inc. here tonight, but that's another good place for some lending and also some customer service training. They come out sometimes and do some different things. I put the business challenges, that makes sense. Workshops. Virginia Tourism, if you're in a business like mine, the Virginia Tourism site, the Love VA, that's any type of business that's for tourism. You want to work with those folks, I think Becky Nave and those folks. And in this group, we can put you in touch with who you need to talk with. Virginia Capital, that's Sandy. She does workshops. She's a tireless promoter of Southwest Virginia, and especially outdoor recreation, but I'm sure there's many other things, but she is a tireless promoter. And then, like businesses, keep always in touch with people who are doing what you are doing and learn from them. Just like Sarge and I were talking, we have similar businesses, and you might consider us competitors, but we're not, because the more stones in the water, the higher the water rises. And so, immediately he and I were talking about our summer, because I don't have the level of scouts that he has, but we have some scouts and different things, and I can learn from him. So the people that you meet in this room tonight, they're going to be resources for you. They're going to help you be successful, and you're going to make some good friends. I don't know which way I'm going. I'm driving backwards. This is the terrible things. These are the things when Sandy says, what's the worst things in your business? Well, the first thing was, this was a total surprise. Not everybody's going to love you. And that's such a shock, because when you have a business, it's your baby. And you think, I've got the best thing since sliced bread. and you don't like me? You're worried about the traffic on the road? You don't like this? Get over it. Maybe they're jealous, maybe they had a bad day, maybe they didn't come up with any ideas, maybe they just need to watch TV. But don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You're awesome. You're doing something good. You're being innovative. You're thinking. You're working. You're striving. So if they don't like you, that's their problem. Don't waste your energy worrying about it. Also, the other thing, I've heard this a lot. In fact, I might have said it once or twice. I'm my own boss. No, you're not. TripAdvisor's your boss. Your customer is your boss. You're only as good as your customer reviews you to be. So you have to be even better than you would be if you were reporting into someone. Because at least when you work for somebody, they know you. Your customer, they may not care. If they don't like something you did, they will go on social media and let everyone know about it. You just have to make sure that you have a good enough relationship with hundreds of other customers, so that it goes way down in the thing, because that is your new boss, the customer. You have to please your customer. And then also, it's going to take a while for you to make money. A lot of people want to make money that first year. It's hard. If you're successful, you're going to reinvest in the business. You might have a slower trajectory and just not make enough. You have to keep reinvesting. So, owning a small business does not equate to being rich. It equates to a lot of hard work. But it's very rewarding, and it's something that you can be proud of. And at the end of the day, hopefully, within a reasonable period of time, you will make an income that you're satisfied with. But, and those are the things that I wish I had known when I was sitting in your place in 2015. So, I think that's it.
One more. One more.
Oh, yeah. Oh, this is the good. You like to entertain? I love to entertain. And now you get paid to do it. Because really, in all of your, if you're in any type of hospitality, and a lot of you are, manufacturing or not. But the fun thing is, when I have somebody come out to Mendota, one of the things I do on our picnic tables, I grow flowers. So I put my zinnias in a Coke bottle and set them on the table, or a mason jar. They love that. It costs me nothing. It's nothing. But they love that, and I love doing it. But now, I also get $33 a person when they do it. so that's the difference. They're paying me. So I really enjoy doing that for them, and they enjoy receiving it, and I get paid for that hospitality, which I would do for free. So anyway, but thank you so much. I'll be cheering for all of you. I'll be at the breakfast in March to see who wins, and I can't wait. It's going to be fun because you all have a very strong group. I think it's one of the strongest we've had, don't you say? So, and it's going to be fun to watch. And the friendships you're going to make are going to be valuable. You know, all those people that they mentioned, like White Birch Juice, Nicole, she never won a challenge. But if you've been to Abingdon, everybody goes to White Birch Juice. So, you know, she's got a great deal. Thank you so much.
Well, have you learned everything now? Can you handle some more? I promise, was it midnight that we're supposed to get out of here? I'm not running long. No. With a show of hands, it was hard when we went around the room, but how many are startups? So I guess it's kind of important, kind of the steps of starting a business. I'm not going to take a whole lot of time because you have this presentation tonight on your flash drive, so you have a resource that you can refer back to. If there's something you didn't catch on the slide, you've got it. And again, I want to stress to you that list of members that you have, they're there for a reason. Each one has a specialty. Take the time to reach out to these folks. Don't go through this alone, and don't wait until the night before your business plan's due before you call up Cindy and say, I need some help for any of these folks. Take advantage of it while you can. And I suggest you start, if you haven't started, start tonight working on your business plan, because it's something that's very important to you. Why it's important? I'm with Virginia Community Capital, and if you've not heard of us, we are a community development financial institution. We're a nonprofit, but we have a for-profit bank. We're one of only 9 in the country that are made like this. Which, being the nonprofit, we get access to some grant funding that we can turn around and lend to businesses and communities. So when I say Virginia Community Capital, remember that community part, but that's what we focus on is helping businesses access capital and communities. We also help businesses invest. Since we have a for-profit bank, we do deposits. And people can invest in our bank, which means you're helping other communities in Virginia grow and get access to capital. And then the third part that we do is impact, which is what I do focus on, is helping, doing one-on-one counseling, doing workshops, going out in the community, be involved in organizations like Round the Mountain and Opportunity Southwest Virginia and Red Cross. I do a lot of things like that to help. And as a business owner, let me tell you, it's very important. But we're not just a fly-by-night. We started about 12 years ago, thanks to, at the time, Governor Mark Warner, now Senator Mark Warner. He saw a gap in financing in Virginia. And he said, I want to create a mechanism that we can help businesses and communities access capital that normally they may not fit. They fall between the cracks. That a lender wouldn't lend to them. They couldn't qualify for grants. And so we started, we came along. And we've done pretty good. In the last 12 years, we've helped create or retain about 7,100 new jobs. We also do a lot of affordable housing financing, and we've done over 7,300 in that. We also do some healthcare facilities, but I guess if you're looking for financing, even if it's not through Virginia Community Capital, I've been in economic development almost 30 years, so if I don't know the answer, I know who to call in the area. So consider me as a resource. Some examples of lending: we do real estate. For example, if you're investing in property and maybe that property has more space than you need, have you thought about putting your business in one section and create apartments that you can provide housing for others? This is something we do lending for. Of course, commercial real estate. And we also are very focused on food deserts in Virginia, and we have a grocery food access fund that we can help. For example, if you are growing produce, but I guess an example is if you are selling on the wholesale market and you need to increase your facility because you're putting produce out into communities in Virginia, that's something we could fund. If it's a grocery store, it's been around a long time, They need to look at maybe becoming more energy efficient, upgrade their equipment. We can do some financing for that. So that's something that we do. We do a lot of small business financing, everything from debt refinancing to equipment, to working capital. Now, I will admit, we don't do much in the way of startup unless it's a very strong business. We're using a lot of taxpayer money, so we're very stringent on the financing that we do, but there's resources out there. And again, if you're needing help, give me a call. And again, this is something that I came on board with Virginia Community Capital after 26.5 years with the state of Virginia to run their new economy loan fund focused on Southwest Virginia. I felt so strong about this program that was one of the stipulations in my hiring, that I have to stay involved in the Washington County Business Challenge. I've been involved in business challenges throughout Southwest Virginia, and as Kathy said at the very beginning, we're probably one of the longest running business challenges, but what makes this unique is it's not out looking for grant money. The community's investing in this. This is through the Washington County Administration, the IDA, the town of Abington, but we also have small business and entrepreneurs and community banks involved in this. And let me tell you, there's not another one like that in Southwest Virginia. It's something that I'm proud of, and I'm happy that you all are taking advantage of this. You are in something unique. Starting your business, this is where the fun part. It's a 9 to 5, right? Eva, she's gone. Starting a business can be one of the scariest things you've ever done, but it can also be very exciting. It's how you go about it. Part of that is planning, being prepared before you go moving forward. When you're looking at starting a business, there's 3 things you really need to look at. Is it financially feasible? If you say, Sandy, I'm going to manufacture 8-track tapes, I'm going to do everything in my power to talk you out of it, to tell you why. There's no market for it, number 1. So is it something that there's a market for it, that people are going to take money out of their pocket and give it to you? That's something you have to know. Is it a good idea? And is it a product or service that's needed in the area? So business planning. It's extremely, extremely important. As a lender, we won't look at a loan financing, even if it's a large manufacturer, unless we see a business plan. Because we want to make sure you've done your homework, you know what you can afford, you know that there's a market for your business, and how are you going to sell that product and get that and build your business. So those are all things that is extremely, extremely important, and that's why we take a lot of interest in this business plan in regards to the scoring of this challenge. It's extremely important to us, and it will help you going forward. So what makes up a business plan? First of all, doing your market research. Is there anyone that's going to buy what you're selling? I do like lawnmowers. I love being out on the farm mowing grass, and can't wait. Your financials. If you don't have your financial house in order, you're missing out. And in 2 weeks, Cindy Snyder from Virginia Community Capital is going to talk about how do you check your credit and how do you get your credit in order before you go seeking financing. Again, as a lender, that's something that we look at. And also Gary McGow will be here. Gary has run a number of businesses, and he's going to talk about sort of the management process in managing a business. So take advantage of that. And again, operating, there's a lot that goes into it. Sometimes the headache is when you start hiring employees, because it's trying to herd the cattle. And there's things that you need to look at. Marketing. This is something that's extremely important. Every time I review a business plan, I look at how much you're going to be doing in marketing. And if you say you're only going to be marketing on Yellow Page ads, I'll probably mark you up. Because who looks at Yellow Page ads? My mother's 87, and she knows what Google is on her iPad. So that phone book is just used to help a wobbly table. Management and organizations, again, do you have a team? Is it a partnership? How are you going to set your business up? Who's responsible for it? Who's the president? Who's the secretary? Who's going to take care of the financing? If it's just you, well, you've got that set up, but if it's more, you need to know that, how you're going to do it. And then the administrative part, the fun part. This is when you can't sleep at night and you're doing your taxes, you're doing ads, all of those kind of things moving forward. So again, back to your product and service. What are you going to be doing? What's your sell? What is your niche? And you go, who would have thought 20 years ago that we would be spending $6 for a cup of coffee? You think when Starbucks went to look for a loan, if they would get the interest? But they persevered, and look at them today. You know, you got to think about that, and you got to create your niche sometimes. That's how you stay and you survive. Is there demand for your product? Is it something, are you offering to solve a problem that people have? Is there demand for your product, or is it oversupplied? You know, you could see that. You know, the new toy comes on the market and everybody has to have it, but there's only so many that's available, and you spend crazy money for it, and then a year later they can't even give them away. So you gotta keep up with the supply and demand. Better than current or different from the current? Know your competition, folks. We've got social media. Get out there and follow people. Learn what your competition's doing. How are they marketing themselves? Are they growing? Are they struggling? You know, find out. We're small town America. There's a lot of things you can hear about, but know your competition. That's key. And don't tell me that you don't have any competition. We live in a global market. I don't care what you're doing. Even for Eva's Airbnb that she's doing, she has competition. She's not the only game in town. Is it a new product? A new market space? And again, what are you bringing to the table? And now you found your niche for your indoor playground. And Green, I just went blank. Riley Green was one of your first, and I work with Cindy, her grandmother, and she just raves and raves about your place. But that's great. You found a niche in the market, and you're satisfying that. Come on. Critical parts of a business plan. Now again, you've got templates not only in your notebook, but you've got stuff on your flash drive. And the reason we gave those flash drives is you're always going to be working on that business plan, and that's a fluid document. Even after the business challenge is over with and we've got the winners, 6 months later, you need to get that business plan out and see, are you on track with what you said you want to do? Maybe the product that you wanted to sell, maybe there's something changed and you need to add to it. So that's a fluid document that you're always going to be working on. So again, market research and financials, that's key. That's something that we look at. And if you haven't done this, even looking at a startup, have you done a SWOT analysis to see what your strengths and weaknesses are and your opportunities and threats? Sounds like it's elementary, but it's key. You've got to know how are you going to fit in the marketplace. And by the way, strengths and weaknesses are usually things that you have some control over, whether that be your product, wherever you're setting your store at, what your plans are, you have control over that. Unfortunately, your opportunities and threats are things that you don't really have a lot of control over. Whether that be someone sets up a shop right across the street to give you competition, they've got a much larger budget, operating budget, it's tough to compete. Or if you remember back probably 12 or 15 years ago, you remember when the mad cow disease was coming out and Oprah Winfrey and all the stars was going out and said, don't eat beef? Well, the beef industry rallied together and came together and put out the right information. And now I eat beef. I have hamburger this afternoon for lunch. So know how are you going to compete and do that SWOT analysis. Anyone ever done one before? Cindy, you can't answer. You can't do it. Did that help you?
Yeah.
In starting your business?
A lot.
It's key. But I highly recommend that. Now, can be a challenge, is pricing your product. You're doing this business to make money, right? Hello?
Yep.
We all put some caffeine drinks out here. So, how are you going to price your product? Is it that you're not the only game in town, but you have a niche right now and that you could offer higher rates? Or You know, sometimes when I'm buying something, I'm not always looking at the cheapest price, it's what you're gonna give me afterwards. How are you going to support, you know, if something tears up, am I gonna have to get on Facebook and say, don't buy from this company, they won't, and then you react? You've gotta be able to offer some kind of a value proposition why I wanna pay a little bit more to buy from you. It must be profitable. You've got to, when you sit down and you're looking at your business like what you all are doing, you gotta look at your building, your, how much it's gonna cost for your power, your phone bill, your internet, all your supplies, insurance. You gotta figure out all of that cost it's going to keep those doors open before you can start figuring out how much you're gonna charge for your services. Same way with what you're doing.
Liability.
That's right. And next week, we'll have professionals here to answer those questions. A lawyer, CPA, someone with insurance that can answer that. So I would give you a little tidbit, come with lots of questions to ask them, because those are the guys that can help you going forward. And you don't want to give away your business. Again, you should have a process in place that you're going to make at least blank amount on everything you sell, whatever it is, so that you're going to have enough to pay all your expenses and make a little bit. So when you're thinking about that, and if you need help, reach out to someone, any of those that's on the mentor list that can help you with pricing, just sit down and think about it. You probably are not surprised, but nobody's going to give you 100% financing. So what are you going to come to the table with? How much is it going to cost to open the doors? Do you have enough capital to pay a little salary and pay your bills and still until you start making enough, generating enough revenue to pay? That's part of that budget, and that's what that business plan, and that's, I can tell you, a lender's going to look at that, because what they want to give money out, but are you going to be able to generate enough revenue to service that debt? And most of the lenders, I know we will turn away a loan. We're not going to put you in a stressful situation. If you can't afford it, we'll say, sorry, and here's why. Then we try to provide that technical assistance. That's one of the things that makes us unique, where that community comes in. We don't want to just turn you down and forget you. We want to try to help you and work with you to where you can generate the income to service that. And don't forget those ongoing expenses. Crunch the numbers. By the way, don't forget about advertising. Yes. If you're going to do social media, if you're going to do, YouTube is really hot for doing putting video up there and do advertising. Are you going to do Instagram? Some of those things are free to put the posts up there, but it's going to take some of your time. But let me tell you, you can do a lot on Facebook with just putting a little bit of money in. And we'll have a pro here in 4 weeks. Josh Mancuso is going to talk to you about marketing, and this guy knows it all. He's an actor, he is a movie producer, and he has a marketing organization. So we're happy to have Josh on board, but those are things he's going to talk about, is how do you market and some ideas of promoting your business. For example, how are you all going to market your new
A little bit of everything. We've started off on the radio, Facebook, Instagram. TV's probably going to be down the road a ways, but it's the advertising side is something that I looked into thoroughly, and I still didn't scratch the surface. Once you open floodgates, people just start coming in,
and I don't know how they find you
about radio, and it's pretty mind-boggling at what some of these ads cost on the radio. And it's some stations are here and others are here, and it takes a lot more work than I thought to really dig into it and start figuring out where you're going to get the most bang for your buck.
And trust me, somehow when you start your business, these folks that sell advertising in the media, either that be billboard, newspaper, radio, TV, I don't know how they find you. They've got the greatest marketing intelligence out there, but Don't be just saying yes to anything. Do your research. Know what, first of all, your target market. If you've got, for example, my niece's age is, she is 28, it changes every year. You know, she's a tough one to market to because she doesn't watch cable. She doesn't listen to the radio. She doesn't listen to or read the newspaper, the local newspaper.
Word of mouth though is probably the best thing.
That's right, and social. And you know, you can be driving down the road. I mentioned YouTube again. It's odd that you can be listening even to Pandora, and an ad comes on for Food City, or you're watching a YouTube video and one of the Toyota Bristol ads come up. They figured it out. You got to go where your audience is. I'm afraid I'm going to steal Josh's thunder, but I just wanted to point that out. That all goes in when you're developing your business plan because those are costs. And you smile like you went through this. You did.
I'm going through it right now. Actually had it when someone stopped by from another local radio today again. And when she was, I kind of cringed when she was walking toward the door. I mean, not because I didn't want to talk to her, just because it's so overwhelming.
It is.
Because it's so much. Like, you know, the coverage, it's just so much.
And it's an ongoing expense. If you don't have,
you have to
a
have
pipeline
it.
of customers coming in, and you have to advertise. Yeah. It's just a fact. You know, you want to get that word of mouth. But I could see someone loading up a new lawnmower and you getting your smartphone out and doing a video and putting it up on social media and tagging them on it.
And get you
It
lost.
takes 10 people to find out about one place. It takes one person to spread 100 about a bad place.
Well, but that's why you've got to have a good
Yeah.
following.
Oh, yeah.
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 Okay, enough about that. So when will I start to make money? Again, on your business plan, you need to do a break-even analysis. It's okay, I've invested this much, and I know when I start generating this much revenue, when am I actually going to break even where I can breathe and sleep at night? Things that you gotta figure out. Again, you've got Cindy Fields there, she can help you. There's things that you can even do. That, you know, I think we even have a template where you can figure out your break-even analysis, and I'm sure Cindy will share that in a couple weeks. But that's important. Again, lenders want to give money. That's how they make their money. But they also want to make sure you're going to be able to make that pay. Questions so far? There'll be a test after this. Marketing, we touched on this. Who is your target market? Who is your competition? And I encourage you to follow your competition on social channels. Really.
They will follow you.
That's fine, yes. And what is your marketing strategy? Again, don't say Yellow Page. No. Y'all remember Baby Cakes?
Yes.
In town? She told me a story. She'd been operating for a number of years, and we were talking about, she'd done some workshops with me, and I just asked her, just out of curiosity, what kind of marketing do you do? And how much do you invest in it? She said, Sandy, that's an interesting story. I've always been doing Facebook, and if you ever followed her, you remember, she had it figured out on Facebook. About 10 or 10:30 every day, she would put a picture of what her lunch special was. That was when she was serving lunch, but she would also sometimes, at different times, you never knew when she would do this, but she would say, today's flavor of the week is such and such. Come in, tell us that you saw it on Facebook, and you get a free cupcake. Now, it's not the massive cupcake like you got, but it sure was neat to go there and have that beautiful strawberry salad, and I could say, oh yeah, I want my free blackberry cream cupcake. But she said, you know, I've been doing that, and it costs me nothing, Sandy, but my time. But she said, I've had this billboard ad salesman come, and it's aggravated me to death. He keeps lowering the price. He keeps coming back. She said, finally, just to shut him up, he got the price down to where I couldn't believe he was offering that. I decided yes. So she did a billboard on Lee Highway. She said not one person ever came in and said they saw that billboard. But they do on social media, on Facebook.
So one of the other things I do, I'm one of the larger hop growers in Southwest Virginia. We've been growing hops for about 7 years. And direct to that point is when we first got into this business, and everyone thought they had this great idea and it was very competitive and like, ooh, this is my idea. But working with other people doing the same thing you're doing is really important. We ended up founding Old Dominion Hop Growers Cooperative, which is live. And you have all these different people, particularly in innovative startups, people trying to do the same thing and everyone trying to reinvent the wheel. When you gather together and you can share and collaborate, there's a lot of benefit that will a lot of times outweigh the competitive aspects of that. In fact, most of our product sales have come through networking and like, hey, I've got these contracts for this many thousand pounds, and then you can work together to get outputs for your products. So having competition or other people doing the same things that you're doing can be very valuable. It can be a net positive to have other people doing what you're trying to do.
And you know, if you have a tourism-related business, Virginia Tourism Corporation has some grant money for ads, but they also, it's a great way for you to partner with your competition, or, you know, they may not be your competition, they could be in another part of the community, or you provide one part and they do the other, but you can do some co-op advertising that can make it more affordable. And you know what, if you've got suppliers, unfortunately Eva left, but you know, she's got a great story about how they work with the supplier of their canoes to help them finance those canoes, so that helped them not have to come up with that operating capital at the very beginning. And they kind of slowly built into it, but the part of that was that they helped them market that canoe brand here in Southwest Virginia because they'd never been in here. You know what, it cost her nothing to ask. So sometimes starting a business, you gotta be frugal.
I think Virginia Tourism actually requires that you have 3 partners in order to get partner money. So.
Or on the supply side, we've actually developed bulk buying. Everyone was trying to go out and source materials from individually, and we're all paying retail price for the various products we need, like string and plants and whatnot. We started a bulk buy product process so that we could lower our initial costs, especially from new growers coming into market, that they can benefit. And you know, when everybody can lower their price together, you know, we're the ones keeping that money in the state.
Exactly. A couple other things that we look at in a business plan is your balance sheet, your income statement. Trust me, we ask for all of that if you're coming to us for a loan. Your cash flow forecast. Cash is king. If you've started, if you've been running a business at any amount, you know cash flow. I see you smiling. I'm hitting the points at someone. And also, we require a lot of times personal financial data, especially if it's a partnership, for all of those involved. And we'll sometimes ask for, you know, your credit history for your partners, because that all goes back. That's all going to be tied into your business. So we a lot of times ask for that.
Is all of this still on this thumb drive?
Yes, all of this whole presentation. So you'll be ready for the test going forward. And then starting that business is, okay, I've got this idea, now what? How am I going to start this business? What am I going to do to protect myself? What I'm going to be doing? Because how you set up your business is going to affect a lot of things. Not only your personal liability, but your taxes and how the IRS looks at it. So some ideas. Sole proprietor, probably the most basic. You just basically, if you have no employees, all you have to do is on your 1040 on your taxes, you put your profits and losses on there. Now, unfortunately, your personal liabilities is at risk when you do that, especially if you have something that people are coming into your establishment, they're using your equipment, and I break a leg, I can go after his assets. So, yeah, I'm hitting the point there. I see it. And then partnerships, it's usually an agreement between 2 or more persons. And then those agreements is what you set out and you do it. There's online examples of partnership agreements you can do. The disadvantage, each partner is personally liable for the entire business, and that's again why we, as a lender, look at that. There's no real advantage over an LLC. Sometimes it can be more complicated to start up, but again, that's why you go seeking legal counsel, and again, we'll have someone, a lawyer here next week that you can ask that question. And then for corporations, there's two types. There's C Corp and there's an S Corp. You can read all of those. Usually a C corporation is much larger corporations type. So again, seek legal counsel on what do you feel like's better for you. And probably what I see most people do is an LLC. They set up because that helps you protect your personal assets. It's a lot easier and less expensive to set up than a corporation, and you can have single person, multi-person LLCs when you're setting up. It's good for holding real estate too. One of the disadvantages, owners must pay self-employment on 100% of their earnings for the business. Again, I keep stressing, reach out for professional help. There is CPAs and attorneys, there's members of the chamber, and here at the incubator that I'm sure that they will take a phone call from you. Most of the time I have found that first initial meeting is at no cost to help you get started. A lot of them do that for the community, but they'll be here next week. Right now, this coming week, all your questions, and bombard them. And I can tell you, every time we've had one of those, this is over the last 5 years, when we start, you can hear the crickets in the room, because nobody wants to ask the first question. And then 2 hours later, Kathy or one of us has to say, sorry, we want to go home, we want to be here all night, but the ideas and the questions start coming. Like the insurance person will say, well, no, this is the way we look at it. Then you've got the attorney here, and then the CPA, and you almost want to put a tag team event in front, because they're always wrestling around what you need to do. But I'd rather have that someone looking out for me than just to go and putting all my personal savings into a project.
The attorney always seems to defer to the CPA, and the CPA defers to the attorney.
Just tell them, would you go to court with me? Okay, now that you've decided what kind of business you're going to be doing, your entity, this comes the other stuff. If it's an LLC or an S Corp, you've got to go to the State Corporation Commission, fill out all that work. I highly recommend too, when you settle on your name, first of all, you need to go to the State Corporation Commission just to check to make sure no one else is operating under your same name. I had a client about 15 years ago that started a plumbing business in Glade Spring, and he gave it a name. He did not do his research. Someone in Richmond had this very same name of the company, and someone was suing that other person in Richmond, but he had to make at least 3 trips to Richmond to court before he could finally make them realize it's not him, it's that other. But do your homework first before you get started. And then, of course, the IRS wants to know who you are, so you need to get your federal employer, your FEIN, your federal employer identification number. And then Virginia, they want to keep up with what's going on. You need to register your business for tax ID with the Department of Taxation. And then when you get 3 or more employees, you got to get registered with the Virginia Employment Commission. I won't go through all of this. For if you are a professional, like a contractor or insurance or even CPAs, architects, in Virginia, some professional services require you to have a professional occupational license. You make sure that you don't have to have that, but I will mention the reason I want to point that out. If you're looking for someone to come to your home to do plumbing, or you're doing some construction work done, it's a great resource to go and check out that professional to make sure that there's no issues against them. I've done that before I hired someone for professional service. So just something there. It's there. It's on the internet. It's free for you. Starting the new business, now you need to go to your bank and get your checking account set up, and I highly recommend that you do a separate checking account from your personal for your business. And then how many of you all work with the public, and how many carries cash anymore? You really need to be looking at your point of sale and look at how you're gonna process credit card payments. And talk with your bank. There's lots of services out there that you can look at, but I highly recommend that. And then we'll talk more about this going forward in the coming weeks, where you need to make sure, again, about your insurance. Ask the guys next week what you need. And then I'm going to touch on this just briefly, because you're going to hear some more about that. But now you've got your business plan ready. Now I need to go. I'm looking for capital. Need someone to invest in my business. Again, how much cash should you have in your have on hand for your business to operate? Again, cash is king. You need to know that when you sit down and start doing all your numbers. And I've given you a mechanical pencil so that you can work on that instead of an ink pen, so you can erase it, because you're going to make a lot of erasing as you go forward. So do your homework. Again, what is your cash flow? And that's important, again, as a lender, that we look at that. We want to make sure you're going to be able to generate enough cash flow to make those payments. Not only to us, but to keep your power on, your phone going, all of that kind of stuff. And one of the things that we like to see is your cash flow monthly for the whole year, to make sure you have it planned out. And Cindy is going to give you, Cindy Snyder will be here in 2 weeks. I think she's going to give you some templates on the cash flow statement that'll help you going forward. And then how do you find financing? Usually there's 2 ways to finance your business, either through equity, as savings that you have, or debt financing. And when you're looking for equity financing, I would suggest, and a lot of lenders will do this as well, don't put 100% of your savings into your business. Keep that for that rainy day. We like to see secondary methods of repayment, and that savings account is going to be great to show that you have a secondary source. If it's a slow month, that you can make that payment. And then why invest your money in the business? It's the least costly source of funds. Some people use, if they have retired, they'll use their retirement to help invest in the business. But again, make sure you've got that plan and you know you're making a wise decision. Some sources of debt financing: you can get a line of credit to provide some short-term expenses. I know you've got a credit card, but be careful. Those credit cards can get a lot of people in trouble, and we've seen that. I mentioned about how Eva and Mike did on Adventure Mendota is talk to your suppliers. See if they will do any, especially if you're buying some big ticket equipment, see if they might do some financing for you and give you some terms. That helps you to have to not get all of that capital and that loan all at once. All it takes is you to ask. You can do business term loans, used to purchase long-term assets, to operate your business. And then when you're starting out, you can't afford the Taj Mahal. So maybe it's better for you to lease and rent than to go out and buy that building to operate. Look at, again, you're going to be running your numbers. You know what you can afford and what you can't. So, if you remember, what was the coffee shop that was Java J's? You remember when Java J's was up here on the corner? She really didn't do her homework when she came to Abington, because she told me that. She said, if I had it to do over, I would have never gotten such a large building because my operating costs kills me. That's why she closed down. She said, I had too many kids coming in, using my free Wi-Fi and not buying anything, because I had all this extra space. So that was one of the reasons she closed down the Abington operation, then ended up selling her operation in Tennessee. Again, do your homework. Think about those things. And look for government programs. We are a small business, an SBA preferred lender too, so if there's something that our bank will not do, we have access to other funding sources. And SBA has some programs, although we can't reach anybody on the phone now to close any deals through SBA right now, because they're all taken, so hopefully that will change soon. Again, what we look at, we're gonna ask you to obtain a copy of your personal credit, and you need to do this too before you go seeking financing. You know, how is your credit? We're gonna wanna know that. Gather your personal records, and I hope that those personal records are not in a shoebox, that you have good files, but it's amazing what people will do and not do. Gosh, there's apps on the phones that'll help you keep your records. Be specific on what you're asking for. As a lender, if you come in and say, how can I help you? I'm looking for a loan. How much are you asking for? Well, how much will you give me? Your credibility went down the tubes quickly. You gotta know. That's why we do these business pitches too. That's why it's part of the grading is, how are you gonna pitch your business idea? How are you going to, in 8 minutes, tell someone what you do, why they should invest in you? That's another thing you need to work on. Use friends and family. I've got 2 sisters. If you want to use them, I can guarantee they'll tell you what they think. And they won't beat around the bush, but look for that. Again, I remember the primary source of repayment and a secondary source of repayment. That's important. Know how you're going to do it. Again, this is on your flash drive. Bank underwriters, they are, that's their job, is to identify a risk. And I can tell you, our folks go through every piece of paper that you provide on that loan to make sure you say what you're doing, because their heads are on the line as they approve that loan, and then there's something that they forgot to look for. One of the partners has filed bankruptcy or what have you. That's what they get paid for, and they do it. I don't care what lender you talk to here in any of the banks. That's what those folks do. Some of the most common weaknesses lenders find are your inability to demonstrate that you can repay that loan. Again, we want to give out money, but we want our money back with a little interest. Insufficient collateral. Know what your personal assets are. If you have a home, how much do you have, how much collateral do you have in that home that you could put up? Lack of management experience. When people say they want to start a restaurant, and I ask, why do you want to start a restaurant? Well, I like to cook. That's great. But when you start that restaurant, what are the chances of you being there in the back cooking? Unless you can afford to hire someone to manage your business, you're not going to be in the back. So again, you got to know, do you have the experience? Insufficient cash injections and poor personal credit. I have been on the bad side of many of calls to tell people, sorry, you don't, and here's why. That's what we look at. Again, your credit, you didn't do your homework, and you couldn't justify that you could be able to pay that. Don't be scared, just get prepared. That's what this business plan's doing. This is why we're here the next 6 weeks, is to help you get prepared before you go seeking financing and grow that business. And again, I will mention, not only are you going to pitch to lenders, but a lot of times, and you'll find this with suppliers, you're pitching your idea to your suppliers because sometimes you have to sell them on the idea that, yeah, I want you to be my supplier. I saw you shaking your head. You go through that. So don't be afraid. This is what some areas that people get scared at our business challenges when they have to go pitch your business idea. You're going to be doing it, whether you're asking for money, you're looking for suppliers, or you're going to a chamber event, whatever, you're going to be selling that business, so you better be ready to do that business pitch. Other sources, your savings, credit cards, SBA, banks. And here's some, I'll be quick on this. These are some of the things that we ask for when people apply at Virginia Community Capital. We want to know the last 3 years' business tax returns, especially if it's an existing business. Your most recent interim financials, your balance sheet, your profit and loss statements, your accounts receivable, accounts payable agents. That's, remember when Eva was here, she was talking about get your business set up, your books set up correctly at the beginning, because they got into trouble. They didn't know they really need QuickBooks or whatever system. That's why you need this, because you can quickly look up all this stuff than to save hours going through that shoebox. The background and history of the business and personal tax returns and personal financial statements, we will ask that. I want to mention one other thing. Some businesses are getting started and even expanding using crowdsource funding. Have you all heard of crowdsource funding, where people, communities, or people invest in your business? These are some of the top ones out there. Kickstarter used to be the top, and I noticed in the last rankings they've gone down a little bit. It's amazing what people invest in. The best potato salad, the guy thought he had a great potato salad. He went did a crowdfunding campaign, and believe it or not, he got 6,086 people to invest $50,000 in his business.
It's called a silver-tongued dragon. ain't it?
Yeah. One that was successful, but they ended up folding, was the coolest cooler closes at $13 million. These guys developed this cool cooler that had where you could charge your phone. It had a speaker in it. It had all kinds of great things. However, they did not have a manufacturer lined up before they started their crowdsource funding. So they were overloaded by folks investing in their business, but then they could not deliver. They couldn't get them manufactured in time. People got mad. They ended up going belly up and had to get all the money back, and they're still hurt from that, but do your homework before you do that. One that I did want to mention to you that we've done here in Southwest Virginia is Kiva, K-I-V-A. Kiva is a crowdsourced funding, but what makes Kiva different is they don't charge an interest rate, and people can invest. We did a pilot campaign last May, and we had 6 people take advantage of it. Let me see if I have that. I don't have it. But they had 6 people invest or to put out Kiva campaigns. There were businesses here in Southwest Virginia, from Wise to Washington to different ones. So we had 4 that were funded, but they were funded by people in the community. It could be someone down the street from you. It could be someone also from another country that liked what you were doing. You put your idea down there. You could even do a video, and people invest in your business. I was an investor, and I'm still getting paid back. It might be $6 a month, but that money I can roll back into another thing. But it was a neat thing, and if you go on Kiva, look for, I think it's Southwest Virginia team, and you can see some of the programs that we did there. But I just wanted to mention that to you as another source to finance your business. Facts about small businesses. I hate to say this, but 75% of all new businesses start with capital from owner, friends, and relatives. But there are probably some of those relatives, they turn their head and walk out when you walk in when you're asking for something, but it can be an easy way to finance your business. Anybody got any questions?
So if you don't have any questions, 2 things. One is your credit will not get pinged if you download an app called Credit Karma. You know, if you check your credit all the time, it actually makes your score go down. But if you download this app called Credit Karma, it doesn't ping every time you look for your credit score. This is your break-even analysis. This variable cost here is either cost of goods sold or what it costs to make make your product, whatever you're doing. If you're either buying that product from somebody else. But this is your break-even analysis. So just to give you an example, this is a short one. Colin is the managerial accountant in charge of Company A, which sells water bottles. He previously determined that the fixed cost of Company A consisted of property taxes, a lease, and executive salaries, which add up to $100,000. The variable cost associated with producing 1 water bottle is $2 per unit. The water bottle is sold at a premium price of $12. To determine the break-even point of Company A's premium water, this is the analysis. Now,
again, you have to decide whether it's a product you're buying and reselling, or if it's, you know, something, the cost of all the materials that you're making, something with. But that fixed cost also includes your average utility costs, so don't forget those. You know, everybody remembers their rent, but sometimes you'll forget your utility costs. So, that's not on the slideshow. I think we even have another book in my office that goes into greater detail about certain things. So, anytime you need to come down here and, you know, go through some of our materials if you want to, please do. That's what we're here for. Okay, do you have any more questions for Sandy? Well, you've been a great audience tonight. I know it's late, and we don't generally go past 8:30, so we're right on time, and we'll see you again here next Tuesday night.